Well, welcome back to an episode of Rolling Bomb. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. We just got done watching the Food City 500 from Bristol, one of the most unpredictable, craziest races, wildest races, chaotic races I've ever watched. 54 lead changes, 9 cautions. Danny Hamlin took home the win. Ty Gibbs won stage 1, stage 2. Let's break this race down. Beginning of the race, I think the tires were going to be an issue, but we didn't know with practice and qualifying being very wild and unpredictable. We were like, oh, yeah, this is going to be an interesting race. And I didn't know how bad the tires were going to be. We didn't know how long they were going to last. They were really I think after practice, a couple laps in practice, you could already start seeing tires wearing profusely. Stage 1, we kind of see Ty Gibbs, Ryan Blaney, Josh Berry was up there. Stage 1, I think we went through like 3 sets. And every time we got to the end of a set on a tire, it was like a 40-lap run. Cars when the tires were worn out completely, cars were on edge, they were going really slow. The whole goal was pretty much to hopefully, if you're out there on bad tires, that the goal is to hopefully the caution comes out before you're the caution, because then it's hard to handle those cars, and cars are coming around you, it's really fast. And that's kind of how stage 1 kind of ended, or how most of it was. We saw a ton of caution. I don't have all. I know Tyler Rennick got in the caution. Zane Smith finished last again. He's had a terrible year so far. Ty Gibbs will prevail, win the stage 1. It was overall like, man, we went through 3 sets of tires. We don't know if we're going to have sets. And that's kind of what the talking point was going into stage 2. It was more of a tire saving race where we had pretty much, instead of, we were saving fuel at Daytona, now we're saving tires. I think they can go 110 laps on fuel at Bristol, and they can only go, and with these tires they were having, they could only go like 60 laps on tires. So it was freaking wild. Maybe like 40 laps at times. It depends. It really was, if you wanted to push it, you could push it. And you could, if you were in the back and you wanted to try to make spots up and get to the front, you could, because some teams and drivers were at a certain point, they were only going to go this fast in the race. So you could get to the front, but then if you're pushing hard in the back, you're most likely going to pay for it, because then those guys that are saving those tires in the front, and they're also in great track position, are just going to eat you up, and you're going to be done for. And then you're going to be putting yourself in a position where then you have to make a green flag pit stop. And that's kind of how we saw the same thing. When we got to the end of the field run, we also usually got a caution because someone wrecked or spun out, took a couple cars out. So we turned this whole fact that we don't even know if we're having enough tires. They had 9 sets of tires total, and I believe it ended up we were able to get a 10th set of tires. A 10th set. Goodyear busted their butts, worked hard, got their crew members to set, measure these tires, weigh these tires, all the things they had to do to prep these tires to get one more pair of these teams. They actually were a much older pair. I think they were from last year's pair. They weren't used. They just the tires when they were manufactured were much older from it than being used. And then, Ty Gibbs prevailed. Joe Gibbs Racing prevailed. They were up front. We saw maybe Brad up there, Blaney up there, Josh Berry up there. The Hendrick cars were up there at times. We had a whole big mix. We saw Rick Ware cars up there in stage 2. We saw a lot of different mix of people because some people were saving, some people weren't. So cars that wanted to move up, they could make passes. That's where we saw different teams and smaller teams up there, which was really cool. But we ended stage 2 with Ty Gibbs winning stage 2. He won stage 1, won stage 2, swept the stages. I was like, oh, this is Ty Gibbs' day. His car's good. He's good at managing his tires. And then we get into stage 3. It was a long stage 3, and we didn't know how this was going to end. We had the same situation. We get to the end of the field run, and we get with all tires. Oh boy, can you hang on? Hopefully there's no caution. We usually got a caution. And that's kind of how it was. And the Joe Gibbs cars, I felt like dominated, stage 3. They really dominated the race. We'll go over who did the most laps and stuff. But it was Ty Gibbs, Danny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, Martin Truex. Fast forward to kind of near the end of this race into stage 3. It was, I was saying, 60 laps to go. They're coming on the end of one of their tire lives. And this is where it just gets crazy. Once you see one car on TV, tires worn out, that's when oh no, here it comes. Now there's going to be a bunch of cars that are, some of the cars were hitting the wall, spinning out. Well, we actually didn't see that. Cars were wearing out, and they were able to hold on to it. But then it just turned into a point where teams were like, all right, we can't be just sitting around here, because the longer we sit out here on track trying to survive and hope for a caution, the more time we're losing on track. So they said, we're done with it. We're going to come in, get our fresh tires, and hopefully make up time. And that's what you saw. You saw cars trying to save and survive, and then some cars were coming in and pinning, and then the cars that were really good at saving, that were up front, were just weaving their way around slow cars, and then there was cars that came back home from pit road are just flying by these guys, but they're like two laps down. So we ended up having, I think, believe after that whole cycle, like 6 laps on the lead lap. Yeah, I don't know what it fully was, but I know it was almost all the JGR cars. I know Brad Keselowski was up there. But during that time, Ty Gibbs lost the lead near the start of that run before they went and pitted. He got past by Hamlin, and he looks like his tires were maybe he wore his tires up a little more due to the fact that he was leaning. I don't know. Really, it was Dan Hamlin and Martin Truex that got most pitted around the same time. Brad then pitted later after them. And when they cycled through, it's really Hamlin and Truex dominated the race, and it came down to them with around 16 laps to go. Truex was able to get side by side with Hamlin with the lap traffic. They were weaving their way through this lap traffic. It was awesome. It was exciting. And we were in a situation where around 4 laps to go, we were going to be, right when this race was going to end, we were going to be in a tire life situation where, hey, these tires could wear out. But it didn't really work out. Truex took the lead from Hamlin, but not for long. Hamlin was able to then prevail, get around Truex, and then Truex got caught up in that lap traffic, and that's kind of what sealed it up. Hamlin was having that good lead, was able to move his way around. Brad Keselowski was like 6 seconds behind in third place, so he was really a no factor. Hamlin was able to take home the win and get back-to-back concrete wins. It was a Joe Gibbs racing dominating day. But we just saw a lot of just contenders. It was all over the place. We had our top 20 finishers. Denny Hamlin first, Mark Truex second, Brad Keselowski third, Alex Bowman fourth, Kyle Larson fifth, John Nemechek sixth, Chris Buescher seventh, Chase Elliott eighth, Ty Gibbs ninth, Christopher Bell 10th, Michael McDowell 11th, Josh Berry 12th, Chase Briscoe 13th, Ryan Pace 14th, Chastain 15th, Ryan Blaney 16th, Justin Haley 17th, 18th Daniel Schwartz, 19th Cass Corral, and 20th Eric Jones. Let's talk about our winner, Denny Hamlin, taking home the win. He was, top 5 car. He was doing good. He managed to stay up for all day. And he was fast and he qualified top 5. And just look, I think he was saying the veterans that were good at managing the tires, the veterans prevailed in this race. I believe I was hearing that the top 3 guys were the oldest guys in the series. Dan Hamlin like 43, Mark Truex 41, 42, and then Brian, I know he's 40. So the older guys prevailed, the experience prevailed, and they were able to save their tires and put themselves in position to get great finishes. Great race for Mark Truex. He had led 54 laps. Brad Keselowski, another great race. 2 top 5s for him. Alex Bowman, great top 5 for him. Kyle Larson came out back after that bad penalty from his pit stop, and top 5. John Nemechek, great for another great. John Nemechek, another great run for him in the early season for our Legacy Motor Club. Buescher 7th, another top 10 for him. Chase Elliott, good for him, top 10. Ty Gibbs probably had the best car, but just didn't prevail, finishing 9th. Christopher Bell finishing 10th, another great car. Michael McDowell finishing 11th. And then also I want to look at the Stewart-Haas cars. Three Stewart-Haas cars finished 12th, 13th, and 14th. Great for those guys, Chase Briscoe, Ryan Preece, Josh Berry. Noah Gragson finished like 34th. He just didn't have a great day. Just didn't do a good job. His tires were wearing out. He just couldn't get in position. So that was really a bumming day. But also, I do want to mention, Joey Logano and Kyle Busch both finished outside top 20. They just had terrible races. Their cars just didn't handle well. Even though with the tire strategy and having the ability where you could get up to the front, it just didn't work out for them. Joey Logano has had a terrible season so far. And we got to be real about that. I think it's like outside the top 30 points. Kyle Busch was once the points leader, but now he's probably way down in points. Not great for him. So they got to find something there, especially Joey Logano, in my opinion. His teammate, Ryan Blaney has prevailed as the top guy in Penske, and he just looks like a no-show. He's a 2-time champ, looking like a guy who's never won a freaking cup race. That's probably a strong statement, but it's just not great for him, and they got to figure that out. Let's just talk about this race overall. A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people liked it. Dale Earnhardt Jr. loved it. 54 lead changes. I love the race. I know it's awesome. We finally got tire wear. But also, I think there was a bad side was because the tire wear, the tires just didn't last long enough. People were saying it was going to be the Brickyard 400 2008 Part 2. We didn't get that because they survived, and you could save your tires enough to run, but you could always save your tires, for 50, 60 laps. So that was the downside. I think what they need to figure out is if the tire wear was at a 2, out here in Keselowski, if the tire wear was at a 2, they had it at a 9. So they got to find a medium there to where it wears a lot, and also it lays rubber down, because the tire did not lay any rubber down in this race. It was only the bottom groove and the groove right next. So it was 2 grooving, but it was really 1 groove, and the rubber was not getting laid down at all. It was just chunks of rubber coming off the car, marbles getting up the track. But there was just no rubber laid down. And the Bristol night races they have in the next gen car were using PJ1 on the bottom lane. This was resin, so I don't know if the resin and tires didn't work out. The weather, it was cloudy, so there's no sun. So I don't know. I'm not an expert in all that, so I don't know how that would all work. The drivers were kind of confused why it didn't wear. You gotta find out a way to get this tire to wear and not so the tires can last longer. Because then if we get that, I think you can get a really great wearing tire and also great racing where cars can really push it hard and be aggressive. Like this thing, rolling rate, I'll give it an 8.5. It was a great race. It was just the downside was a lot of negativity towards the fact that the tires just didn't last long enough, and we were always in a survival mode. We didn't even know if we were gonna have enough tires. So that was the only thing I'm gonna say on this. But overall, great race. At least this is a big positivity. We know Goodyear has found a tire that can wear. Just gotta hone that in to where we get a tire that wears and puts rubber on the track. I hope they use this tire at Richmond, Martinsville. And look, and I'll be honest with you guys, if they don't do a single thing to this tire, and all they gotta do is just give them more sets, I think it'd be great. Puts the race in the car back in the driver's hands where they can decide if they want to push to pass cars, they can do it, but they'll pay the price. Or they can save and put themselves in a position where they can stay up front. Besides that, congrats to Danny Hamlin. Let me know what you thought of the Food City 500. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.